What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope you're all enjoying your day today. Let's go ahead and just dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content and analytics for today. Sorry for being a little bit later than scheduled. I had to do a little bit more research to verify a couple of the things I'm going to be talking about today. But we're going to be talking about the Binance Decentralized Exchange coming soon here and what that means for the cryptocurrency market, alongside with some other headlines. And we're going to have our live audience also request some technical analysis throughout our video today. Let's first look at the BNB Technical Analysis, knowing that that is the title of our video. You can see here, we are starting to see a small retracement back down towards that EMA. And as we talked about yesterday, when we draw out that Fibonacci retracement, we were most likely going to expect that sort of retracement here sometime soon, knowing that we were at these high Fibonacci levels and you're expecting something around that 0.61 here. So it's doing exactly as expected. That was a very good call yesterday. If y'all were watching that live stream, where I talked about the Binance coin seeing a retracement when you all asked if it was a good time to get a position. Now, understand that it's not really that bad, though. You can see here we're only down about 3.29% in Satoshi value for the Binance coin. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that we're most likely going to see further lows, knowing that the Satoshi value has been on this ramp. So other than that, knowing that we're at these really high RSI levels, let these things cool down before you go ahead and initiate any sort of position in the Binance coin. That's just my opinion right now. I think that these oversold levels have maintained themselves for far too long, and we're going to see some sort of take profit, phase in which we'll see this RSI drop alongside with prices for us to get better entry points before we see further all-time highs, because I'm very bullish on the Binance coin. Once again, if you guys are watching Snipers Tube, you all know that. So you can see here the title of this article here, Binance Decentralized Exchange coming soon. And that is also the title of our video today. And there's a specific reason for that. You can see here it says Binance will have much less of a say over the coins listed on this new platform that they're launching. You can see here it also says the decentralized exchange is called the Binance Chain. Anybody can list any coin. That's the philosophy of the decentralized exchange. It's freedom of choice, freedom of investments. But with the freedom, there will be people who are scammers, and that's not something we can control. So we're going to see what the SEC thinks about that. I want to see what the live audience says about that. So go ahead and leave it in the comments below, or if you're watching this after it's published, feel free to put it in the comments once again. You can see here it also goes in and says Binance change will require much more processing power than Binance, and it will be slower with higher fees. So knowing that the nodes are going to have to be spread across thousands and thousands of people, knowing it's a decentralized exchange, it's going to be a lot slower. It's not like why Ethereum is slow with transactions sometimes. It's because of the fact that there's so many nodes spread around the world, and that's why you have competitors like EOS coming to the plate with 21 centralized nodes that allows for a lot more of a faster blockchain and processing power in regards to the transaction. So interesting stuff here. And if we actually go down this article, you can see it ends by saying users on decentralized exchanges are typically not required to create an account, share their name, and disclose other personal information. We'll see what the governments have to say about that. So that's all I have to say here. I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comments or in the chat. You can see Davey Stewie here in the live chat says, good day. Looks like Pundix won the vote to be listed on Binance. Yes, good for Pundix. William Sanchez says, nice haircut name. Thank you so much, brother. Spencer Carper says, what I miss, you ain't miss anything yet. Matter of fact, another headline here saying Justin Sun acquired BitTorrent for $140 million. If you guys don't remember, we talked about Justin Sun looking to acquire BitTorrent. Now it is confirmed here that he did have this acquisition, $140 million. Why does he want BitTorrent? Is he going to access the network that's already established upon this large platform? Or that's really the question that we want to ask at this point. But understand this was already on their white paper. This is something that they've planned for some time. And it's good to know that he's at least following through with some of the things that were on the white paper. So they've got a ton of money, $140 million. Let's hope that it was used wisely. What do you all think? Put in the chat. Do you think Justin Sun used the $140 million wisely by purchasing and acquiring BitTorrent? Yes or no? What do y'all think? Next headline here. Ramsey says, you never say hi to me, Naeem. Hi, Ramsey. Good to have you on. June 18th. So SEC approved crypto custody solutions, hoping to unlock billions of dollars in institutional money. We've been talking about this for some time, right? We're waiting for institutional money to come into this market. You can see here they are starting to make changes to regulations and to laws to go ahead and allow for some more institutional money to come into the marketplace. So let's go ahead and transition to some fun technical analysis here. Take a look at BTC USD on the daily here, taking a look at what we're expecting over the next few days. You can see here we had a little bit of a push up here recently with a little bit of some buy volume coming in, looking like the RSI is already above 40, starting to maintain these higher levels. Let's hope that we stay above 40 right now. What I do like about this chart is knowing that RSI here at 40 is a known resistance slash support level. We can see whether or not we're going to go ahead and take this RSI level to bounce here to start seeing further highs over time. So that's what we're going to be watching here with the Bitcoin technical analysis here. You can see here on the daily, we're starting to go ahead and create some more positive momentum. We had two significant price pushes up here. You can see we've got some higher lows here and some higher highs, and now we're starting to head back up towards that 6,700 range, possibly going to be heading towards that 7,000. So I've been dollar cost averaging at certain points, specifically points within this little area right here, which we drew out several videos ago. So I hope y'all have had the opportunity to dollar cost average your positions into Bitcoin if you guys are looking to go ahead and establish those positions, knowing that we have been quite oversold. And you can see here another positive thing here. Check this baby out here. I did not notice this, to be honest with you, but look at that MACD crossover starting to occur. Very bullish here for Bitcoin. Who's excited about that? I'm excited about it. But let's go ahead and take a look at some further analysis here. Other than that, if we were to go ahead and insert a couple more indicators, I will show you guys something here that I definitely want y'all to watch here. We're going to pull up this Bollinger Band. You can see we're at these lower levels of the Bollinger Band, and we've just now started to kind of jump back into these middle areas here. So I am not going to be surprised if we start to see Bitcoin head further up. You can also see with this EMA, if you really take a look here, we're getting above that EMA. Remember, anything above that EMA is typically a very bullish sign. So hopefully we can stay above that EMA, head back towards these moving averages. So that's really what I'm watching here for Bitcoin. It really just looks like to me that these are the trenches, right? Like we had a trench here. It's like we're having another trench right over here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and pull up the ETH USD analysis here. Let's take a look at our live chat. Do you guys have any requests today? John Waller says 300 likes are a bulls are coming chant. All right, deal. Let's do 300 likes if you guys like this video. We'll do a chant together. Come on, y'all. Let's see how strong you snipers are. Y'all are watching our live show. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see here. David says, I feel effed by Bitcoin, dude. When I think it's going bullish and all indicators are in the same ways, it does the opposite. Well, that's called the shorting game that is played by a lot of institutional type of retail investors, in which I am referring to those who have large sums of money and capital and liquidity to put into this market and short/leverage the market. So Mario Contreras says, hi, just got here. How longer we have? We have a couple more minutes here. Let's see what type of request we have. Vince says requesting DGD. Jeff Ace is extremely bullish with MACD crossover. 100% I agree, Jeff. Brock Addison saying Constellation will be the new Bitcoin. Interesting. Christopher Ratcliffe saying the whales run the table. Greatest ever says, where's the LaCroix? Not here today, brother. Roberto saying LTC. Well, first let's look at ETH. You can see we've been a little bit stagnant here in terms of the daily and price of ETH here. We saw a little bit of that positive divergence come up, but understand that I still think there is a really good play forming here with Ethereum, knowing that we are now above that moving EMA here. And what's also cool is we're also starting to see this MACD crossover occur. So very, very nice sign here for ETH, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this fast length here kind of swiggle like that as it already has and then start to go back up that way. So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen there. What I would do at this point is start dollar cost averaging once again. We were looking to hit these lower price targets, but once again, knowing that the market is looking, sort of bullish, it wouldn't be harmful to dollar cost average. However, always have fiat on the side just so you can preserve some sort of capital, right? Let's see here. Crypto says, any tips on the volume indicator? Well, there's a lot of ways to use the volume. There's different types of volume indicators too, right? So you just have to know what to look for when you're looking at volume. Like, for example, let's say you see a sudden surge of volume right out of nowhere. That's kind of weird, right? It just doesn't happen normally. There has to be a reason for that. So for example, like if you're watching this chart right here, we could have really predicted this rally, once we saw this significant amount of volume coming out of nowhere, we could have kind of predicted that we were most likely going to start going up, because why would this much volume just come out of nowhere? And then you can see that led to a ton of volume, taking the price all the way up. So that's one way you can use the volume indicator, and there's a lot of different ways here. Jeff says volume has been on the rise. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing here. Ernie says, what's the deal with XVG, bro? All this proof of use and no movement at all. It just follows Bitcoin. Thoughts? Got to give it some time, and there's no fiat pairings yet with the XVG token. So let's see what happens once there's pairings with fiat currency, so that people can actually purchase Verge without necessarily having to have Bitcoin. SXC saying, don't forget upcoming mainnet and ETC listing. 100%. SPOP, V-Chain countdown is to launch on blockchain. 100%. You're very welcome, Crypto Bismo. Jose said vodka or water? Definitely water. John Waller says XRPTA. Well, let's go ahead and look at Litecoin. I know we had a previous question about Litecoin. You can see we're still outside of this symmetrical triangle that was forming here. Let's actually pull up what we're seeing right now with Litecoin. You know, knowing that this volume right now is still pretty low and we're still below that 40, I'd be a little bit more cautious with Litecoin, because we're still in these bearish zones in regards to RSI, and it wouldn't be surprising for us to go ahead and double bottom here with Litecoin. But once again, you know, there are certain bullish signs here, like a possible MACD crossover and then the overall market sentiment. But the question is, where are the majority of the gains going to come from? Because once the market sees liquidity come in, it's going to be diversified upon many different coins. So your goal as an investor is to be in the coins that are going to see the highest percentage gains, right? Because some will outperform Bitcoin, some will outperform Ethereum, and so forth. So I think Litecoin is probably not the best bet right now. I think that, yeah, it's under $100, but at the same time, you've got really good opportunities with Ethereum and Bitcoin, for example. And Litecoin is a good example as well. I mean, you can use Litecoin as a way to start dollar cost averaging into this market. I am assured that under $100 is a great deal for Litecoin. I'll tell you that right now, 100%. I'm not saying it's not. So Tilly for Riley says Binance Dex means you hold your coins on the Dex wallet and trade with proxies through their website, meaning you won't use 5 wallets to trade, but rather 1. Interesting, yes. Paul says custody will be great final piece for institutional investors to come in, or what's your take on that? I agree, Paul. Once again, everything that we're seeing now in the market is leading towards the acceptance of institutional money, right? So Christopher says, I'm waiting for the fiat pairings before I reposition. That's fair. SXC says, Naeem, do you know about Vin Ferretti? Yeah, we were supposed to do a collaboration, actually. We're probably still going to do it. We're really good friends. Great guy. Austin says, do you think ETC will pump or dump when it finally hits Coinbase? Well, you know, I think that we already saw quite a bit of gains. Why don't we pull up the ETC analysis here to actually get a better understanding of that? We'll actually pull up the BTC value here, because I'd rather compare it to Satoshi value. You can see we did see this initial run up. To be quite honest with you, though, knowing that we're still below these lower levels in RSI, and also knowing that, like, we did see a surge of volume and price action, but it wasn't that crazy, right? Like, it wasn't like all-time highs. And I think it's pretty significant, the fact that they did list it on Coinbase. But at the end of the day, you have to understand, what is the real use case for Ethereum Classic? Yeah, it's the original blockchain of Ethereum, if you all don't know that. But, you know, Ethereum is really being led by Vitalik Buterin. And, you know, you really have to ask yourself, who's leading ETC? I'm sure there's a great leader, but do you really hear of him in the press doing things in this market, you know, versus Vitalik, who's constantly out there grinding and doing work? So, you know, it's just, you kind of have to ask yourself, which leader would you rather follow? So, y'all agree with me or not? Leave in the comments or the chat. Brazil Crypto says, did you see the news from New York Finances Department? Yeah, where they accepted Square to start transactions. I did see that. Great, great. Roberto says thank you. Tilly says agreed. Levius says I agree. Vince says I agree. Daniel says yeah. ETS S-Coin. Christopher says Binance is finally listed SC. Slow and steady progress. Yep. Ernie says, what's your favorite exchange to pull crypto back into fiat? I would say maybe GDAX. just because it's simple. Timothy says, good news coming out for XRP. Yeah, possibly. SXC says, now can you give a shout out to Vin Ferretti's YouTube channel? Well, there's your shout out. RF Dusty says, KuCoin shares. Thoughts? Hold token for income? Yeah, I think KuCoin shares are good because the Binance coin, once again, is very intrinsically valuable, and the KuCoin exchange is right there behind Binance. Beautiful UX, beautiful user interface. I can definitely see the Binance exchange and the KuCoin exchange competing against each other in the future. Do you guys agree with me or not? Put in the comments or chat. Esber says, I get why people dislike live streams. Just leave if you don't enjoy the info. Yes. Jose says, do you think BNB would still be a decent hedge on BTC? Not completely, but I think to a certain regard, it's sometimes better. Obviously, over the past few weeks, we've seen it perform and outperform Bitcoin significantly. So, you know, over the past few weeks, it was definitely a good option. Timothy says, why is BNB hedged so well against BTC? Because people know it has intrinsic value, right? That's what investors are really looking for. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It's most likely because these hedge funds are investing in BNB. That's what I'm thinking. Because understand, yes, institutional money is set to come into this market, but it's not in this market yet, right? So Bitcoin has been going down, but the Binance coin has been staying steady. And it's most likely because you see these large institutional type of investors like hedge funds, which are prominent. You know, we know there's hundreds of hedge funds in this market trading hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm guessing that, you know, they're the ones placing those trades, leaving value there because they're the ones that are looking for true intrinsic value more than retail investors. Because some retail investors just don't know. They come into this market blindly. We all know people just come in thinking that they can make money through trading. But when you look at projects that have intrinsic value, you can kind of assume with the BNB coin, we can actually pull up the technical analysis here and see what type of volume we've seen here. You can see, yeah, there's definitely institutional volume. Look at that. You've got this random spike here, this random spike here, this random spike here. That's institutional money coming in, and that's what's driving these run-ups. So I'm telling you, I mean, this is just a miniature scale of what institutional money and large capital can do to a market. You know, just imagine when the institutions come in, not just the hedge funds, right? You see fractal formation, fractal formation. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fractal formation here, fractal formation here. You know, just keep on going, baby. Fractal formation, seeing all-time highs. You know, this is a beautiful, beautiful company, awesome CEO, huge vision. I love the Binance coin. Straight up. I mean, I made a video 4 months ago, I think, or 3 months ago, saying the best coin of 2018 is the Binance coin. So I'm not, you know, I'm not like a Patriots fan that just becomes a fan because they went 16-0 one season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an actual, you know, I would call a supporter of the BNB coin as probably my #1 pick. And it's something that I've expressed in the past, you know. And if you've heard me say it in the past, say yes in the comments. Sohab says BNB all the way. Jeff says hedge funds love BNB. Walmart says, how do you determine when you will sell a position that you hold less than a year when you know there's large tax liability with each trade? You just have to make more money than what the tax liability is, right? Timothy says, what are your thoughts on the research paper on BTC price manipulation with tether printing? Well, it's an interesting paper, you know, and I think that's why you see these exchanges leading towards these fiat pairings more than anything. Carolina Chris says, sup snipers? What's up, brother? Hassan says, BNB is a great coin, not just for now, but for the long term. It's leading the way, and I don't think other exchange coins compare, in my opinion. 100%. Belmain says, I traded all my LTC for BNB. Nice. Mike Serasano says, going to wait for a pullback. I agree. I think we'll see a little bit more of a pullback. Remember, I'm looking at that 21 to 23,000 Satoshi range. We're currently at 24,000. So is that a Italian last name, by the way, Mike? I think it is. Ernie says, what are the chances of BNB getting hacked like other exchanges? You know, it's a big vulnerability, but we can't prevent it. I think it has probably the least amount of vulnerability because of the size and the amount of, you know, security features that they have implemented, because, you know, obviously they have regulations and stuff, but you can't solve that. You know, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. So I did do my ETH analysis. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. I think that's pretty much it. 20 minutes. That's a wrap. The BNB coin, baby. Decentralized exchange coming soon. hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, put your thoughts out in the comments. I'd love seeing your feedback. And Walmart saying, I guess you're looking at trading at day 5% gain. Maybe. Ernie says, thanks, bro. Appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, too. Thank you all. And until our next show, snipers out.